Deploying our e-commerce store won't be much different from the way we deployed our to-do list app, with the exception of setting up Amazon Web Services to host our media and static files. You can think of Amazon Web Services, or AWS, as a much larger, much more featureful Heroku. Where Heroku gives you an isolated virtual server to run your application and can provide add-ons for things like databases, Amazon Web Services offers a whole host of cloud-based services ranging from virtual servers to databases, file storage and backups to data analytics, and even machine learning and artificial intelligence technologies. One of their most popular offerings is called S3, which stands for Simple Storage Service, and we're going to use it to store all of our static files like JavaScript and CSS, as well as all our product images. Before we set up AWS though, let's create a Heroku app where the rest of our code can live. You can do this either with the Heroku CLI in Gitpod or on the Heroku website at heroku.com. I'm going to use the website by clicking New and Create New App, giving it a name, and choosing the region closest to me. Then on the Resources tab, I'll provision a new Postgres database for it, which we'll need in a few moments. We'll just use the free plan for this project. To use Postgres, we need to go back to Gitpod and install DJ database URL and psychopg2, so I'll do that now with pip3 install DJ database URL, and pip3 install psychopg2 binary. Now I can freeze the requirements with pip3 freeze requirements.txt, and that'll make sure Heroku installs all our app's requirements when we deploy it. Let's get our store's new database set up by going to settings.py and importing DJ database URL. Then down in the Databases setting, I'll comment out the default configuration and replace the default database with a call to DJ database URL.parse and give it the database URL from Heroku, which you can either get from your config variables in your app's settings tab or from the command line by typing Heroku config. With that saved, we're ready to connect to our new Heroku database and run migrations. Remember that because we're connecting to Postgres now, we need to run all these migrations again, and we can see that with the show migrations command since none of them are marked off. If I run python 3 manage.py migrate, it will apply all those migrations and get our database all set up. Now to import all our product data, we can use our fixtures again by first loading in the categories and then the products. To load the categories, I'll use python 3 manage.py load data categories, and then do the same for products. And remember, it's important to do them in that order because the products depend on the categories already existing. Finally, I'll just give myself a super user to log in with using python 3 manage.py create super user. With this finished, our Heroku app and database are ready to go, and if you run your site, you should notice no difference aside from a speed degradation thanks to now connecting to a remote database. This will go away once we've deployed fully to Heroku, but for now, it's actually an indication that things are working properly. Before I commit, I'm going to remove the Heroku database config and uncomment the original so our database URL doesn't end up in version control. With that done, I can commit, and in the next video, we'll finalize this configuration and make sure our app deploys successfully before we move on to setting up Amazon Web Services.